When I saw you, I said, don't come back to my place, because it's always a mess, and I try not to clean. But then you said that you'd fallen all over again, and you try not to run, because you know where to go. Oh, I don't owe you a thing. Thank you anyway, just to say.
I think the title of this video speaks for itself. It's a commentary on the state of American society as viewed from an outsider's perspective. I'm not an American. Incidentally, I live just north of there in a little place called Canada. You might have heard of us. We're America's largest trading partner, their closest friend, and quite often their best ally. However, as several before me have pointed out, there's a problem in American society that threatens its very nature. The United States has long been a great world power and a leader in scientific achievements. All one needs to do to prove this is take a look at the 20th century and observe the contributions of the USA. Things like the hearing aid, air conditioning, the washing machine, traffic lights, microphones, hydraulic brakes, dendrochronology, the compass, the altimeter, the iron lung, the particle accelerator, the electric guitar, the radio telescope, EEG brain topography, the microwave oven, chemotherapy, cable television, ice resurfacers, called Zambonis, and actually a lot of people think they're made in Canada, but in fact they're invented in California. The atomic clock, the barcode, CPR, lasers, weather and communication satellites, lung and heart transplants, cordless phones, CDs, calculators, a personal computer, floppy disks, not so floppy disks, email, cell phones, digital cameras, the space shuttle, the internet, the Hubble telescope, flash programming, which allows sites like YouTube to operate the way they do, DVRs, the HPV vaccine, nanowire batteries, and bionic contact lenses, just to name a few. Every single one of these inventions, which have all changed our lives in one way or another, and in many cases have made our lives magnitudes easier, more convenient, and a whole lot safer, are based on one or several scientific theories that contribute knowledge to the invention and production of these items. When it's said that we stand on the shoulders of giants, this means we glean our knowledge from centuries of scientific research done by men like Newton, Kepler, Galileo, Darwin, Einstein, and the like. These are men who never asked anything in return but the opportunity to add to scientific knowledge and help improve the lives of future generations they would never live to meet. Indeed, we owe these men nothing except an obligation to carry on the search for new knowledge and continue to think forward, leaving our mark on humanity by striving to improve the lives of generations of people who will come after we have long since ceased to exist. So, what's the problem I alluded to at the beginning of this video? Well, the United States has a long history of scientific advancement indeed, but that's being threatened as we speak by a plague of ignorance that's overwhelmed a great portion of the populace of that great nation. It's no error to state that the majority of Americans, and indeed the majority of people regardless of nationality, are scientifically illiterate, meaning they have no idea what science really is or how it really works. But wearing this scientific illiteracy as a badge of honor and proclaiming to the next generation that science is immoral and that the ideas of men are heretical and blasphemous is an act that, while you might think it's harmless and even somewhat comical, threatens to retard scientific progress in the United States and turn America into a scientific backwater wasteland where scientists go to die. You might feel as though I'm being a bit, well, apocalyptic, for lack of a better term. Well, in a country where best-selling books are those that speak of the rapture and post-apocalyptic end times, where society beats a path to the doors of people like Ken Ham, Jerry Falwell, Ted Haggard, and their brethren for commentary on social issues that they have no understanding of, where parishioners parading in the streets carrying placards proclaiming that God hates fags is becoming more and more commonplace, and where the constitutionally enshrined and protected separation of church and state is being threatened in school boards around the nation with the lame duck demand that we teach the non-existent controversy between the scientific fact of evolution and intelligent design creationism that aims to reject science on the mere grounds that, when you dig to the bottom of the issue, it offends their most basic and deepest beliefs, and nothing more. This pathetic attempt to inject religion into the science classroom, to attempt to use slogans like equal time and teach the controversy, to convince students that there is actually a controversy within the biological sciences regarding whether or not evolution happened or not, is more than dishonest, It's nothing short of the rape of the education system. And if we allowed to continue, it threatens to prevent a generation of students from becoming educated in the sciences and contributing to human knowledge. Scientists do not question whether evolution happened. The fact is, it did. It still does. And as long as there's life on Earth, it will. I won't get into the specifics here, and if you want more information on evolution as a scientific theory, there's lots of excellent videos on YouTube that can help you out. Some scientists openly question how evolution happened, often by calling into question evolution by natural selection, often called Darwinian evolution, as the main mechanism by which evolution occurs. Many biologists now lean towards the idea that there are many avenues through which evolution can occur, but Darwinian evolution still holds the overall consensus as the best explanation for how it happened. There most certainly is no controversy regarding the fact of evolution, however, and the fact that in the United States, the most technologically and scientifically advanced nation on the planet, science ever increasingly must live in the shadow of ignorance and be attacked by religious fundamentalists who cannot reconcile their beliefs with the true nature of life, will lead America to nowhere but a downward spiral, where up-and-coming nations like China and India are all too willing to take over the title of scientific superpower that America has held for so long now. Please, America, don't stagnate merely because you're afraid of offending the religious ideals of the fundamentalist community. This is a situation that calls on everyone who's offended by it to fight back. YouTube is just one of the forums where this is happening. Write letters, call your Congress members, write to your newspapers, write to your school boards. You need to let those with the loudest voices know that you aren't going to sit back and watch your country spiral into scientific obscurity. In Canada and in nations around the world, myself and others are watching, and we're hopeful that the shadow of ignorance will not fall on America permanently. In the meantime, the outspoken community of YouTubers who've already spent many hours fighting this battle for you, and which I would humbly and graciously consider myself a part of, will continue fighting. Thanks for watching. Spread the word.